I'm going to talk a little bit today about carbon offsetting. So, but before I do that, I just want to make sure that there's some people in the audience that might want to take notice of that and learn a little bit about it, because I can talk about a lot of things, as you'll get to know. I've built a couple of 8-figure businesses over my career, back on number 3 at the moment. The first one was a trade sale, the second thing we floated on the second board of the AIM, and the third one is in preparation as we speak. So that's not to say that I did it all myself. There's plenty in my book, which has gone to bestseller. I've got to get a plug in because I never remember. It's called Business Blunders and Bloody Great Ideas. And it's the story of why 52% of people in business survive despite their best efforts not to, and the rest fail. It's all the dumb stuff that we see and experience people in business trying to do. Part of my journey is that I've built communities, and I've always built communities, and I started this particular journey in 1989. We have about 480,000 businesses in 31 countries that buy and sell among one another using a digital trade credit as the mechanism. And there's quite a few customers here today, including Santosh and his team, and Anthony Marshall I saw floating around, Steve Jones. There's a few people here that understand that community. So one of the themes that I speak about is community. You know, being in business can be a lonely place at times. It doesn't matter what size business that you're in. And so community and communication, networking, connections, getting insights, inspiration and ideas is one of the key things in running any business, and I don't care what that is. So I can speak to you all day about that, but today, Santosh has said, John, you're going to talk about carbon zero. So let me just explain, well, ask a couple of questions. So there's usually 3 types of people, and these are not the ones that, you know, there are 3 types of people in the world: those that watch things happen, others that make things happen, and others go, what happened? So we get that, but this is not these 3, right? So the types of people in the space that we're talking about today are either people that are climate sceptical. How many climate skeptics have we had floating around? And it's all right, we won't knock you down or whatnot. No climate skeptics. My God, this island must be a very green place to live. The second group of people are the ones that think, someone else will do something about it. I don't really need to do anything until the government tells me that I've got to do something about it. Anybody in that space? Yeah, there's a couple out there, fantastic. And then there's the third group that think, well, wait on, there might be some advantages in becoming more climate conscious during the course of our career in business and our career in life. There are people that are concerned that climate change will impact future generations, and every piece of evidence that I've seen says that human habitation of the earth is not helping. Okay, it might not be as bad as some scientists are warning us about, but it's like cigarette smoking, isn't it? You know, there's no evidence that I've ever seen that cigarette smoking is good for you. All right. The only other thing, some people say it's bad for you. Some say, well, it doesn't make any difference. My grandfather lived to 182. But with the climate science, there's usually 2 camps. So let's take that slant today with this presentation on that some people are interested. There's a few reasons why you should be interested. Even if it's just selfish, you don't have to believe in the project. And I'll go through a couple of those things today if I can. By going like that. So here's a couple of selfish reasons as to why becoming, and I'll explain in a minute what's the difference between net zero and carbon neutrality for those that are not quite sure how that works and what the difference is. But the motivation to become carbon zero, and that is that your impact on the planet, creating carbon, is usually done through 2 things. One is your energy consumption, the other is transportation. They're the 2 big ones. So if you're moving stuff from A to B, or if you're turning a light on somewhere or whatnot, you are consuming energy and therefore creating a carbon footprint. Okay? If anybody's got any questions along the way, I'd rather do it now rather than the end. So if you're not understanding something that I'm talking about, nags, you can go to the toilet if that was the question.
Yeah, you have written to win contracts. That contract, of course I'm relating it to the business contract. How does that work?
That's about what you're trying to keep me on track, is that what you're saying? So, good job. So, the selfish reasons are winning contracts. Now, why do I say that? The Bournemouth Council, the Exeter Council, Waltham Abbey in London. Now, I'm also a non-executive director of a wide format sign and print business, just so it gives me something else to do. One of the things that they must have in place in order to win the contract to make signs for the council is that we have to have a carbon neutrality certificate to show the supply chain. Okay, does that make sense? We can't put a tender in unless we are. So this is a forced thing. Right? We don't have any ethical or moral choice in this. If we want the business, if we want to tender for it, then we've got to become carbon neutral or in manufacturing. I just want to understand what types of businesses. Who's in a manufacturing type of business? You guys have got a couple. What about service businesses?